A third of the year has already gone by, so I'm curious, what is your game of the year so far? Leave it in the comments as we take a look at May with some significant action games, some weird ones, chill ones, and long-awaited titles. So let's begin with Nitro Express, a side-scrolling pixel art run-and-gun action title where you play as a member of the atypical vehicle disposal squad tasked with eliminating rogue autonomous drones. This has 360 degrees free aiming, and while you can run and gun, standing still improves accuracy, particularly with heavier firearms, so it's an interesting mix, looking very anime while retaining that Metal Slug inspiration. Indie game OGs might be happy to hear that the developers of Awesome Knots are back, sort of, since officially developer Ronimo Games shut down, but some of the developers have reformed under the Rangatang banner and actually bought the IP for Nubs Arena back from Atari, who acquired their previous company, actually putting their money where their mouths are, which is commendable. This is a chaotic top-down multiplayer party game where you control little creatures named Nubs, battling it out in arenas to entertain the ever-demanding consumers the unentertained. Every round begins with a frantic scramble to find weapons, followed by the blasting away at your opponents with various upgrades after every round to add passive abilities in a manner which I believe is similar to rounds and looks like fun with friends. This video is brought to you by Spirit of the North 2, a stunning open-world 3D platformer adventure title in which you play as a fox accompanied by a wise raven on a quest to restore the lost guardians, cleanse the land from corruption, and to return home. You are making your way through different biomes from a dense forest, snow-capped peaks, and ancient crypts, each presenting unique hazards and secrets to uncover. Our dynamic duo will have a number of traversal abilities like a dash or a glide, which you use to explore, mixed in with puzzle-based encounters as you take on these powerful corrupted guardians. Find runes to enhance your skills and gain new abilities with extensive customization options for the Fox and Raven, both of the cosmetic variety as well as abilities which affect your playstyle. While there are intense action segments, there's no direct combat here, being a different kind of experience and is the follow-up to the original Spirits of the North from 2020, which has over 4,300 Steam reviews, although no prior knowledge is required to enjoy the sequel, so if interested, wishlist the game on Steam and look forward to the release on 8th May 2025. A title with some amount of hype behind it is Hordes of Hunger, a Vampire Survivors inspired action roguelite, but taking things into 3D, where you play as Mira, a fierce warrior defending her homeland against relentless waves of monstrous enemies unleashed by a cosmic entity known as the Beast. While it might not look like it, these levels are self-contained arenas with, of course, 3D, meaning that terrain height and elevation plays a role, in addition to use of precise dodging, timing, and combo-based attacks. There will be a variety of weapons from fast swords to heavy hammers and additional abilities such as elemental powers like fire and lightning. Between battles, you retreat to a central hub where you can interact with NPCs, accept quests, and upgrade your character with new gear and skills, looking to be an evolution of the genre and should be sweet. I've been very curious about Darfall since, on the surface, this looks to be a Warcraft 3-like RTS, complete with their own bootleg Dreadlord as well, but it's a hybrid real-time strategy, city building, and RPG title. Command a powerful hero who has to lead a fledgling settlement through a world plagued by undead corruption. For the most part, you are doing RTS gameplay of gathering resources, constructing essential buildings, training troops, and fortifying your settlement with nightly assaults from waves of the undead that you need to fight off, resembling a defense RTS like They Are Billions, but perhaps without as many enemy units on screen. During the day, however, you can go out to explore beyond the confines of your settlement, where you may encounter hidden resources, enemy camps, and valuable loot, so akin to an RTS as well. with the RPG elements for the hero including equipping various weapons, armor and skills, and also specialization into different classes. As such, it is an interesting mix of ideas with a cool look, with there also being a scenario editor for custom campaigns, but I don't know how popular that would be, but it looks to be of interest to fans of the genre. A very ambitious looking 3D action-adventure RPG is Bygone Dreams, set within a surreal dream world where you play as Wa, a spiritual entity on a quest to save the dream realm of Loom and its matron deity from a devouring nightmare. This has good-looking, fast-paced combat, exploration and puzzle solving in a world inspired by Slavic mythology and medieval Bosnian folklore, where what seems to have been a considerable amount of work has gone into this game, down to the epic orchestral soundtrack with over 50 unique tracks made for the game, some of which you can hear kicking into effect in this trailer, as well as 2 hours of fully voiced cutscenes. You will have a range of combat options, mixing melee weapons, ranged attacks and elemental magic to overcome powerful enemies and intricate boss encounters. Further customization exists in the form of the abilities you select and multiple difficulty settings, as well as optional challenges like time trials and no damage boss challenges for added replayability. Interestingly, they are also doing something which I've not seen games do in a while, in launching a free standalone prologue demo titled Bygone Dreams Prophecy in early May, so try that out to get a feel for the game and pick up the main game at the end of the month if interested. The creator of Katamari Damacy, Keita Takahashi, is back with To a T, a charming adventure game that does have some visual resemblance to his previous title Watam, but following a blow-up at that team, Phenomena due to actions by other parties, a new team named Uvala was formed. You play as a teenager whose arms are permanently stuck in a T-pose position, navigating the challenges of daily life in a vibrant coastal town as best they can, which can result in some interesting situations to say the least, such as brushing teeth with an extra long toothbrush, or how the character, by default, would be best suited to riding a unicycle, while also leaning into the funny T-pose bugs that people run into when playing AAA games. It looks super adorable, helped by the fact that you have a little dog companion, blending slice of life storytelling with light puzzle solving as you experience various activities like attending school, interacting with neighbors, and exploring the community. The gameplay emphasizes humor, empathy, and creative problem solving, encouraging players to explore obstacles from unconventional angles, all designed around the character's permanent T-pose, looking so charming and should be an absolute delight. There is a very interesting mix of ideas here in Survive the Fall, a post-apocalyptic open-world action RPG in which you play as a survivor attempting to find a way to live after a meteor strikes Earth. This blends exploration, real-time combat with tactical pause, resource gathering, crafting, and base management into an action survival experience, not being a pure survival crafting game but not quite a CRPG either, resulting in quite a unique title. Scavenge for supplies, battle hostile enemies, and manage hunger, thirst, and fatigue while navigating this shattered world, where you do get a home base which you can build and upgrade and will be central to long-term survival. There will be over 30 types of facilities available to build, including farms, workshops, and laboratories, together with a follower mechanic where you can recruit and add more characters to your camp, each bringing unique skills that contribute to community growth and defense. Combat emphasizes flexibility, so you can switch between stealth, ranged, and melee tactics depending on the situation. Quests and storylines unfold dynamically as you rebuild civilization piece by piece, with decisions impacting the fate of both individuals and the broader world, looking very ambitious in that state of decay kind of way, which is impressive coming from a smaller team. The latest entry in the cozy idle/productivity application is Ithya Magic Studies. Not exactly a video game, but does have gamified elements, having a student on screen seeking to cultivate focus, creativity, and tranquility within a magical hand-drawn world which is designed to support productive work and personal reflection. This provides a customizable study environment inspired by medieval and fantasy aesthetics, where you can decorate your own magical study room, switching between various biomes like enchanted forests, ancient libraries, or mystical cities, and also to adjust settings like time of day and weather to create the perfect ambience. Integrated productivity features includes a Pomodoro timer, to-do lists, and journaling prompts, encouraging structured work sessions while maintaining a serene atmosphere. The world of Ithya is populated by whimsical elementals, magical companions, which you can unlock and display as you progress, with beautiful hand-drawn art and an original soundtrack and even playlists. And if Spirit's City lo-fi sessions is anything to go by, this could be fairly popular. There's an interesting selection of titles in May, including the return of the Windward series with Windward Horizon, a naval RPG where you play as captain, charting your own course through a procedurally generated open world filled with opportunities for exploration, trade, combat, and diplomacy. This is a sandbox RPG which expands on the mechanics of the original, offering a deep and more dynamic maritime experience. You can choose from multiple career paths, from playing as a merchant, supplying towns with goods, to a swashbuckling pirate raiding coastal settlements, to an explorer uncovering hidden treasures and ancient secrets around the world. RPG elements come in the form of a talent tree, which allows you to add points to upgrade defense, offense, and support, with ship and crew customization, as well as you alter these to fit your playstyle to emphasize speed, firepower, resilience, or trade efficiency. This also has a province management system, so you can establish and govern your own territories by appointing governors, collecting taxes, and influencing local politics with a dynamic faction system, as all the moving parts react to your actions and interact with each other, looking to be a fantastic entry. Now hear me out on this one, since playing with Spreadsheet might not seem like fun, but Spreadcheat does have a cool looking art style and is a puzzle game going for something different. This has a visual style similar to Windows 3.1, which some of you might have used back in the day, but even if you did not, this is an interesting look into the corporate world in the 1990s, with your main objective being to solve absurd tasks by manipulating spreadsheet cells using formulas and clever manipulation to achieve your specific targets. As you rise through the company ranks, increasingly complex and absurd puzzles will challenge your ability to bend numbers and solve problems, and aside from the main game, this is fully featured with other side activities and elements such as a Clippy-like assistant named Corpy, minigames in the form of battling malware, fixing printer errors, and more, looking so quirky and weird and is so indie games. This next title has been in development for a little while, where as someone who likes music and rhythm games but am not insanely good at them, Fretless The Wrath of Riffson is of interest since it mixes rhythm game elements with turn-based JRPG combat. You play as Rob, a defiant musician fighting to liberate the world from the control of the tyrannical Rick Riffson and his corrupt corporate empire, who is exploiting musicians for their own profit. The world itself has a musical theme, down to environmental elements like biomes, where flowers jingle and the rocks really rock, to enemies like the percushrooms. You explore and collect guitar riffs to add to your deck and then use these in combat, talking about the use of bars, bridges, strings, and more, but seems to be presented quite accessibly even if you're not familiar with musical terms. The pixel art looks sweet and is from YouTuber Rob Scallon, who has 2.5 million subscribers at the time of recording, who has gotten other heavyweight music YouTubers like
What's Up? Slappers,
Davey504 involved in this, gaining quite the amount of hype and does look good. I'm usually very skeptical when it comes to games that uses this exact free asset pack from the Unity store and also has Untitled Studio listed as its developer, so things are a bit suspect with Blacksmith Master. However, this is being published by strategy game publisher Hooded Horse, who you might know from Manor Lords, so I'm assuming that the publisher has done their due diligence to make this tycoon game of note. You own a medieval smithy and have to grow your business, overseeing the entire production chain from acquiring raw materials like ore and wood to refining them into ingots and crafting finished goods such as swords, armor, jewelry, and tools to then sell on to your customers. Resource management is key, requiring you to balance production needs with market demands while optimizing workflow across multiple floors of your workshop. You can hire and train specialized workers to automate tasks, upgrade their skills, and equip them with better tools to increase efficiency. As your reputation grows, you take on increasingly complex orders from nobles, warriors, and merchants, unlocking rare materials and advanced blueprints where you can then reinvest the profits to expand the workshop, all while tinkering with the layout to maximize productivity. So given the track record, this tycoon game might be huge. Interestingly, we also have the release of Among Us 3D in May, a 3D first-person adaptation of the immensely popular social deduction title that really took off during the pandemic, which appears to be quite a faithful recreation of the original. Too faithful, in fact, since it looks like the same thing just with a different camera angle. If you're not familiar, you are randomly assigned the role of either a crewmate or imposter, with the former having to complete various tasks to win, while the imposters can sabotage and kill regular crew members. Players can call for emergency meetings to then hurl accusations at each other, with the players then voting to eject a player, and on we go until the mission is complete or all imposters are eliminated. The tasks have been redesigned for the 3D perspective, requiring more tactile interactions, now also adding native proximity voice chat with the change in perspective, introducing new factors to consider, but my bet is that this will be less popular since more casual players might not like first person, and at its core, it is the same experience, but we'll see when this releases. Ever wanted to be a haunted house? Now there's a question that I don't think anyone has asked before, but if your answer is somehow yes, Deck of Haunts will be of note, where you become a malevolent, living, breathing haunted house, orchestrating supernatural phenomena to terrify and drain the essence of human intruders in your cursed halls. This is one part roguelite deck builder and one part base builder, in which you are constructing rooms to expand the house, creating an intricate maze to trap your victims, but also has cards with special abilities which you can use in real time. The rooms can confuse, delay, or trap the humans, while cards range from bone-chilling whispers to full-blown poltergeist assault, scaring the bejesus out of your victims to make them vulnerable for harvest. Use this essence to grow stronger, unlocking new cards, upgrading abilities, and face progressively tougher foes such as priests, investigators, and the secretive stone masons who are the antagonists in the game, targeting the heart of the house which you need to protect. And while not quite the time of year for it, sure looks to be for horror game fans. Shifting gears, we have the semi-cozy side-scrolling farming sim Doloc Town, where this has farming and crafting at its core, but mixed in with combat in a post-apocalyptic world. So not 100% cozy, but it's in that ballpark. Nature has reclaimed the remnants of civilization, and it is among these ruins that you seek to build a new life. It has farming sim elements like cultivating crops, crafting tools, and managing resources, but you have to deal with more adversity like acid rain and heat waves. As you expand your homestead, you'll come across quirky townsfolk, each offering unique stories and side missions that unveil the land's forgotten history. It also has side-scrolling exploration in what seems to be handcrafted, almost Metroidvania-inspired locations with diverse biomes such as River Valley and the Wetland, teeming with secrets, relics, and enemies, with the trailer showing off abilities like a double jump, which might be some sort of unlock rather than giving you that ability right off the bat. You can also build your own customizable drone companions to help in combat as well as on the farm, having great pixel art as well, but do note that this will be an early access release. This next title has a tremendous amount of hype behind it, in which the Precinct has you playing as a rookie cop navigating the crime-infested streets of 1983 Inferno City. This is a self-described neon noir action sandbox game that combines detailed police simulation with dynamic open-world gameplay. Patrol the city on foot, in squad cars or via helicopter, responding to procedurally generated crimes ranging from minor infractions to major heists. The game emphasizes realistic police procedures, requiring you to issue citations, make arrests, and follow proper protocols, adding a touch of realism instead of the more arcadey nature of other open-world titles. As you delve deeper into the city's underworld, you'll confront powerful gangs and uncover the mystery behind your father's death, which is the main narrative and has demoed extremely well and is one of the most wishlisted games on Steam. From the developer of My Friend Pedro comes Shotgun Cop Man, a new title with an equally outrageous premise where this precision 2D platformer has you playing as the titular cop on a mission to arrest Satan himself, blasting through the fiery depths of hell in order to do so. The game's standout mechanic is its unique movement system, where firing your shotgun launches you in the opposite direction, turning every shot into both a weapon and a means of traversal. Mastering this mechanic is key to navigating a gauntlet of hazards, tight spaces, and enemy encounters. It will have over 150 handcrafted levels packed with demons, traps, and tough boss fights, all designed to test your skills and reflexes, and for those seeking extra challenge, optional objectives like no damage runs, speed runs, and full enemy clears are included. A built-in level editor further extends replayability, encouraging community-driven creativity, so there might be longevity here with the action and probably instant reset upon death, giving off Hotline Miami vibes, promising fast-paced chaos, crunchy impact, and stylish violence. One of the more interesting releases of the month is Drop Duchy, a hybrid roguelite strategy title that mixes Tetris with city building strategy and looks kind of awesome. You play as a ruler building a kingdom, but instead of dropping blocks to clear lines like in Tetris, these pieces represent forests, rivers, farms, barracks, and more, and are locked onto the grid when you place them, generating resources, raising troops, and expanding your territory. Completed lines persist, becoming the foundation of your growing realm, with synergies between tiles being where the strategy comes in. Combat introduces a tactical layer where your units and the enemies are positioned on that very same grid, with terrain directly influencing their strengths and effectiveness. A rock-paper-scissors style system governs unit interactions, rewarding smart placement and foresight. Between battles, you can expand your strategic options by upgrading your deck, with over 110 unique cards unlocking more buildings, abilities, and synergies, and with 3 distinct factions to choose from in the Duchy, the Order, and the Republic, each with its own strategic identity and playstyle, seems to have plenty of replayability. Next month also sees the release of Yes Your Grace 2 Snowfall, which did add that number quite recently, being the direct sequel to the original from 2020 and picks up 1 year after the events of that game. Once again, you play as King Eric of Devon, continuing to rule the kingdom, beset by new challenges and lingering consequences of past decisions. This sequel deepens its narrative and strategic elements, where you are holding court and addressing the needs of petitioners, managing scarce resources, and making morally complex choices that shape the fate of your realm. With larger threats like rival kingdoms which you need to neutralize through diplomacy or military might. Set in a richly detailed world inspired by Slavic mythology, the story unfolds through weekly council sessions where your judgments impact both the kingdom's stability and your family's well-being. Speaking of which, the developers do make it a point to talk about taking care of your family and watching the children grow, so interpersonal and familial relationships take center stage, with good-looking minimalist pixel art sprites mixed in with the 3D environment and looks good. We also have the release of The Midnight Walk, a dark fantasy first and third person horror adventure game made by new studio Moonhood, whose founders worked on Lost in Random. And you can certainly see a similar kind of vibe and influence here. You play as the Burnt One, a mysterious figure journeying through a hauntingly beautiful world, who is accompanied by a lost lantern creature named Pot Boy, whose flame is your sole source of light. As you make your way through 5 interconnected tales of fire and darkness, you'll navigate treacherous landscapes, outsmarting monsters that lurk in the shadows, who are eager to extinguish your companion's glow within meticulously handcrafted environments which were made with real clay, utilizing stop-motion animation as well, looking awesome in that Nightmare Before Christmas kind of way. Some of the monster designs do look kind of freaky, nothing too gory I think, but unsettling nonetheless. But what an awesome look this game has. A fascinating release is Real Gods of Hystera, a co-op survival action RPG where you play as a dreamer, a survivor awoken from the dreamlands and inseparably bound to a monstrous sentient locomotive known as a real god, navigating a post-apocalyptic world consumed by Lovecraftian horrors. This blends base building, resource management, and real-time combat in a procedurally generated landscape where your real god serves as both transportation and mobile fortress, requiring regular sacrifices of enemies to fuel its journey and to unlock eldritch powers. Get off the train to gather resources and fight, then return to the train to craft and upgrade, building specialized carriages, weapons, and you can even harness dark magic to withstand the relentless onslaught of cultists and cosmic entities. Apparently, your real god can grow so powerful so as to have the strength to take on the cosmic gods, but I'm not sure how that plays out in terms of gameplay, and am also curious about the tracks that the real god is on and where it leads to, so I guess we'll find out, with this having 4-player co-op support as well and looks awesome. I love fishing in games, so of course Nice Day for Fishing has my attention, where the main character is Balin, a humble fisherman thrust into heroism when the adventurers of the realm mysteriously vanish, leaving the town of Honeywood vulnerable to an encroaching evil. Balin was an NPC, but then steps into the role of protagonist, now using his fishing skills and equipment like his boat to save the day. This is a pixel art RPG which has a whimsical side to it, with gameplay involving fishing for the most part, but has dynamic fishing battles which require precise timing and strategic use of magic spells to defeat increasingly formidable aquatic adversaries. Beyond combat, you gather resources from shipwrecks and the environment to rebuild Honeywood, unlocking new quests, equipment, and merchants as the town is restored as you venture further and further out on your boat to uncover secrets and complete challenges, with this stemming from New Zealand sketch comedy YouTubers Viva La Dirt League, who have a huge following which has translated into wish lists for this game. I'm always on the lookout for action-adventure titles of note, which makes Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo of interest, a 2D Zelda-style title which self-describes as a yo-yo-vania, so I hope that has you intrigued. You play as Pipit, a yo-yo-obsessed bat-rabbit creature who inadvertently absorbs his aunt's soul into his prized yo-yo during a botched rescue mission. It combines elements of action, platforming, and puzzle solving within a sprawling urban landscape teeming with secrets and challenges. Using over 10 unique yo-yo tricks, you can ricochet the yo-yo off surfaces to solve puzzles, defeat enemies, and to navigate complex environments. The city has 4 distinct districts, each controlled by a rival crime family, offering over 1,000 screens of content, which seems like a lot, with more than 40 equipable badges that modify gameplay, providing variety wrapped up with some fantastic Game Boy Advance looking pixel art. Prior to its announcement, I had a feeling that Monster Train 2 was in development, since the original is a very popular roguelite deck builder which is one of my favourites, where their follow-up was Inkbound, which was good but did not sell as many copies, so a sequel seemed obvious, and indeed, this was revealed just before February's Steam Next Festival and is already releasing in May. This is a direct sequel, but instead of hell, you are going on the offense and taking the fight to heaven, mixing new angel and demon clans for even more variety of units and cards. There are also new card types like rune cards that grant persistent effects to specific train floors, and equipment cards that enhance individual units with customization of the Pyre Hut, a Covenant outpost that serves as a hub for story progression, train customization, and a lot more. Looking to be bigger and better, and will probably consume many hours of my life. I told you that I'm always on the lookout for action-adventure games and have been eagerly looking forward to the release of this title since Creature Keeper adds in monster taming elements, but combat remains in real time and is not a turn-based JRPG like Pokemon. You need to unravel the mystery behind a strange sickness afflicting the creatures of the world, befriending and raising over 50 unique creatures to fight alongside you as you explore. You can enhance your companions through cooking, crafting, and the use of skill gems and perks, with a pocket garden mobile farming mechanic as well as a bestiary to complete, with a great pixel art look as well, and I cannot wait to play. Watch this video for more action-adventure titles.